Farmer Friday, and we're Farmer Sarah, operating the gator, heading down to the fields to pick some grapes, right?
Cab Franc.
All right, we'll see you down there. It's a beautiful day in the vineyard. Happens to be in the mid-80s today, in mid to late October. And so we're letting the grapes sit on the vine as long as possible. So I'm gonna head out there and see how they pick them. All right, we're back out into the fields with Sarah. So Sarah, we've got the nets over the grapes. That helps protect them from the birds.
And other animals.
And other animals. Okay, let's undo the net and see what we got underneath here. Terrific. Let's take that one off there too. Oh wow, look at this. So what is the variety that I'm looking at here?
A Cab Franc.
Cab Franc. Okay. So the Cab Franc, what can you tell me about the Cab Franc grapes?
Well, it makes a really nice fruity wine.
Delicious wine.
Yeah.
And is this one of the last grapes that we would be harvesting here on in the vineyard?
Yes, it's a late variety.
A late variety. So today is October
20th?
Today is the 20th. And so we've got some really warm weather. So does that help the sugar content in the grapes, or?
Yes, if the vines are working correctly, but they've been stressed all summer. It will help the grapes, but it's been a little stressed for their
so
liking.
the drought, I know grapes are a Mediterranean type crop with Portugal, Italy, France, that kind of thing. So we've almost had Mediterranean type weather here this year. So does that mean the grapes are, this year's vintage is going to be really nice?
Fantastic.
Yeah. So what are the things we're looking for when we're looking at the grapes in terms of the health, or?
Well, we're picking the best ones. So that means that the stem right here has to be nice and brown, which means that the cluster's pretty mature. Also the fact that that's a pretty nice and big cluster, and the shoulder cluster is also there and nice and big.
Okay, so help me out now. Shoulder cluster. That's a new word for me.
Pretty new for me too, actually. Just, it's a shoulder.
Okay. So you've got a main cluster and then a shoulder cluster.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. It's
well, that's
kind of like a secondary.
Okay. Well, that's a really nice, and it just smells delicious in here. So I'm thinking that this is going to make a really great wine. Cab Franc's quite popular. So does the Cab Franc grape, is that blended with anything when we're making the Cab Franc wine, or is it just that single grape?
No, we usually like to blend, people like to blend Merlot into the Cab Franc, because the Cab Franc is a little light and kind of meh by itself when there's too much of it in there.
So you need something else to give it a little body?
A little bit of body, a little bit of depth. We also like to oak it for a certain length of time to give it some tannins and stuff. Okay,
great. So this is one of our, I would say, premier wines, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Terrific. All right. Well, I see we've got a lot of work to do as I look down that row, and I see Larry, our vintner, he's already up there ahead of us. So okay.
Okay, that's
so that one there is a secondary bud.
It's a weaker growth, and this is a primary bud, and this is what got all your good clusters on it.
All right, so this one here, that's going to be next year's.
Correct.
Okay. And that will flower and set in June?
Correct.
And then that will grow and give the grapes for next fall.
Correct.
In October. Okay.
Correct.
Great. So this is the main cluster here, and then this coming off of that, that's the shoulder cluster.
Yes, and that shows me that that was a fully developed, really ripe cluster of grapes.
Okay, all right. Is there anything else that you're looking for when you're looking at the grapes?
Oh.
For health or vitality for next year's crop?
No, at this point we're just looking, so you can see closely there, these berries are starting to break down. And so that's why we're picking today.
So you're only picking the premier clusters, and something like that you're going to leave behind.
Yes, well, and we'll come back and pick it.
And we'll come back and pick it for secondary
picking.
Yeah, okay.
But we're picking today because things are starting to break down and we don't want it to get rained on.
Sure, and we do have some inclement weather coming.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, hey, thanks very much, Larry.
You're welcome.
I've taken you away from this for too long. Now these are called lugs, if I'm not mistaken, is that right? So we'll be harvesting into those. I've got some video of the guys doing that already. So fantastic. Well, I'll let you keep ahead of things, Sarah. Thanks so much for spending time with us. So long.
Bye.